back for another one of my videos. Today I'm going to be making a hibiscus mead. Hibiscus or Jamaica, different languages, same thing. It's a red flower that they dehydrate, and you can find it in most grocery stores. Most tea sections have them. Kind of has like this tangy, tart flavor to it. It's really good. I've been drinking a lot of it as a tea in general, so I figured, you know what? Let's go ahead and try to make a mead out of it. So what I did was I went ahead and took about 1.5 cups of dried Jamaica or hibiscus flower, and I rinsed it off in the sink just to get any additional particulates out of it. I went ahead and I put that into a pot with about 4 cups of water, and I didn't boil it, but I started heating it up until it came to a dark red color, as you can see down here. It's pretty dark red. So that's what we want to see, because we're going to dilute this, and that's what's going to give us the really pretty red color that we're going to get. Now I'm going to set this aside for a little bit, because I might actually end up putting some of those flowers in there. It'll add a little bit of tannins to it. It might also provide some nutrients for the yeast to eat off of. I have a couple other things. I have some honey from Costco, should be about 3 pounds left, and I have a packet of Lalvin 71B yeast. I also have my hydrometer, my graduated cylinder, and my turkey baster. I'll be taking a reading to make sure it's about where I want it to be. Now I know that this is 14% alcohol tolerance yeast, and I actually forgot this. I haven't done this in a while. Let's see. So the potential alcohol, we would need about a 1.115 to get a 15% alcohol. I might end up just back sweetening it a little bit to surpass the tolerance. I really want this to be a sweet mead. I'm going to go ahead and put the full 3 pounds of honey in there. That'll get us pretty close to it. Each pound of honey in a gallon of liquid of wort or must comes to about 35 points of gravity, so 1.035. So we want to add 3 pounds of this into here. Now this is still hot because I just got it off the oven, and so I'm wanting to actually go ahead and mix this up now, so I can go ahead and get this all together easier. The honey will dissolve in the hot hibiscus liquid quicker and easier. It won't require as much shaking. Okay, not quite done with it, but it's going to take forever to get that last little bit out unless I do this. There are other ways to go about this. This is just the easiest way that I know of, quickest way without like really changing it. One of the things I don't like doing is boiling it or heating up the honey, because some of the honey character will just pretty much evaporate, disappear. That's what I'm not wanting to do. I want this to have as much honey character in it as possible. So I'm going to keep this as cool as possible. I'm really just trying to get the majority of the honey out of it. So all I'm really doing is making sure, like, not sure if you can see it, but when you look at it, it's like rippled or ridged or something. It's, the honey is, I don't know why it does it, but the honey has like this texture to it. When you start shaking it or mixing it with water, it tries to retain a shape. And so as the water mixes with it, it just gives it this really cool, like, almost like a textured glass feel to it. I'm just trying to shake it up until I can no longer see that on the plastic, and we're good. So it's mostly been mixed together. Okay. I want to go ahead and measure this real quick, because I know how much this weighed before I before I, oh, come on, give me a flat surface. Okay. I know how much it weighed before the honey was taken out. Okay, yeah. So I put almost exactly 3 pounds in there. It was like 2 pounds and 14 ounces. So I have my bung. You know what? I'm going to go ahead, because this is still a little warm, add a little bit more water in here. No, I'm not. The warmth will help to dissolve the honey a little easier. So I'm going to go ahead and shake this up now. All I need to do now, I'm actually going to go ahead and put some of those flowers in there. I'm not going to do too much. I'm going to do some good-sized ones. Now, one thing I will say, if you're going to be adding other objects into it, stuff like this, you're going to need to keep an eye on it, because every single day, the longer it sits there, the more it has a chance to grow mold on it. So what you can do to avoid that is, right now they're above the surface because there's air bubbles on it. That's what's going to happen during fermentation too. As everything ferments, the CO2, just like in a soda, how it pulls your straw up out of the cup, it's going to do the same thing with that. So you need to stir it up, you know, shake it up, do something to it every day. All right, so I just want to give you a quick example. From what you can see here, you can see like the little flower petals sitting up there on the top of everything. Now this is a very active fermentation. You can tell by the bubbles in the airlock, it's just going off like crazy. But what I wanted to point out is, because of the CO2 rising from the fermentation, it's pulling the bubbles are attaching to the flower petals, and that's what we're trying to avoid here. We don't want them to just stay above the liquid, because then it can start to mold if there's any bacteria on, and that's what we're trying to avoid. So I'm just going to go ahead and just give it a little swirl. And all I'm really trying to do is just get those flower petals to resubmerge. That way they don't have a chance to mold. Mold only grows in environments where it's not completely wet, it's moist. So you want to keep those wet at all times. Once the yeast produces enough CO2 that it pushes all the oxygen out of it, you should be safe, but you really just don't want to take that chance. Now what I'm going to do, go ahead and try to get as much of this out of there as possible. I'm going to go ahead and just pour my water over the rest of the hibiscus flowers. I'm going to go ahead and take a reading of this. Let me go ahead and shake it up again just to make sure it's all mixed together. Oh yeah, look at that color. This might not be done for a while, but I cannot wait to try it. You know, I might actually try some right now. It'd definitely be a little too sweet for me because it's got 3 pounds of honey mixed into it, but definitely be a good way to find out what it tastes like right now. All right, let's go ahead and put you back in there. Get rid of these bubbles. Alright, so right now it's sitting at about a 1.105, which is exactly what I said it would be, with 35 points per pound of honey. 1.105. Yeah. Awesome. So that's exactly where I expected it to be, which is fine. It's probably still going to go dry. That's really only going to be about, I want to say 12 to 13%. So if the yeast does what it's supposed to do, it will go completely dry. And that's fine. I'll probably just add like another ½ pound of honey into it to kick it up over that point. And then we'll go ahead and go from there. Now this could probably stain my hand towel that I'm using, so I'm going to try not to do that. I'm going to pour most of you back in there. save a little taste. Okay, so we've got our honey. Now, I didn't use most of the gallon because I already had about 3 to 4 cups of water from the hibiscus tea that I made, plus the 3 pounds of honey, which takes up a quart of a gallon anyways. All right, last thing, the yeast. I'm only going to use about a half packet of yeast because honestly, I'm not making that much mead. You can easily use the whole pack, it won't hurt anything. If anything, it might cause it to start a little bit quicker. Finish a little quicker possibly, just because it'll have a bigger colony. But honestly, half a packet is what I normally use. Never had a problem. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up, throw it in the freezer, keep it for next time. I'm going to go ahead and shake this up one last time, and I need to get a different cork bung. All right. We're good to go. We go ahead and get that bung. That should work. Sanitize this. Keep a spray bottle around. Comes in handy a lot. Not just for this, but just in general. Spray little items that you forgot to sanitize earlier. Or if you're just trying to take a reading of something, you don't have to sanitize. You don't have to like create a whole 1 to 5 gallon bucket of sanitizing solution. You can easily just spray it up with this. And use distilled water. It lasts so much longer. This has been in here for at least a month and it's still crystal clear. Works perfectly. All right, so that is step 1 of the hibiscus mead. This is going to be sitting over here. I'm sure you can see some of the stuff over there, potentially. But yeah, I'm just going to set this on over here. And this is good to go. I will be seeing y'all with this next video in this series in about 2 weeks. Thank y'all so much for watching and have a wonderful day. That's sweet.